In the previous lesson, we got to know the topic, cultural diversity. Today, we continue to learn Unit 7, Lesson 2, Language. In this lesson, we will learn some lexical items related to traditions, cultural characteristics, and superstitions. Struck into syllable word with the same spelling. Comparative and superlative adjectives and articles. First, we will pay attention to the vocabulary section. Now, open the textbook, page 17, look at task 1. Based on the conversation in getting started, you have learned and match the words or phrases with their definitions. 2 minutes for you to do the task. I think this task is quite easy for you, right? Number 1 matches with G. The Vietnamese meaning of proposal is lời cầu hôn. How about the second word? The answer is E. Engagement nghĩa là định hôn. Number 3, you will match with D. Wedding nghĩa là đám cưới. And number 4, B is the answer. The Vietnamese meaning of reception is tiệc chiêu đãi. Number 5 matches with A. Bride nghĩa là cô dâu. Number 6 means chủ rể. So it matches with C. Bridegroom hay còn gọi là groom. And the answer for number 7 is F. Ceremony có nghĩa là nghi lễ. We have learned some new words. To better understand what they mean, we move on to task 2. Look at task 2 in your textbook. You will circle the correct words in brackets to complete the sentences. Now, 2 minutes for you. Have you finished? Here are the answers. Number 1, we will choose wedding. Trong câu này marriage có nghĩa là hôn nhân. Wedding có nghĩa là lễ cưới. Vì vậy, dựa theo nghĩa của câu, chúng ta phải chọn wedding. Nghĩa của câu này sẽ là đám cưới em họ tôi là vào chủ nhật tới. Number 2, the answer is groom. Trong câu này chúng ta nên gạch chân the best man. Bởi vì the best man có nghĩa là phù rể. Vì vậy câu này sẽ có nghĩa là vào ngày cưới, người phù rể sẽ giúp đỡ chủ rể. Number 3, the answer is bride. Tương tự với câu số 2, trong câu này chúng ta sẽ gạch chân bridesmaids. Bridesmaids ở đây có nghĩa là gì nào? Phù dâu. Vì vậy câu này phải chọn bride. Để câu đó có nghĩa là cô dâu có thể có thật nhiều phù dâu như mong muốn. And number 4, we will choose reception. Câu này chúng ta nên gạch chân cụm từ after the wedding ceremony. Cụm này có nghĩa là sau tiệc cưới. Vì vậy chúng ta phải chọn reception. Câu này cũng có nghĩa là có một tiệc cưới dành cho khách sau lễ cưới. And number 5, the answer is guests. Chúng ta sẽ gạch chân số 100 trong câu này. Các bạn có thể không cần dịch câu này cũng có thể đoán ra được đáp án của nó là guests. Bởi vì không thể nào có 100 chủ rể trong một tiệc cưới được. Vì vậy chúng ta dễ dàng có đáp án là guests, khách mời. Number 6, we will have the answer before. Trong câu này chúng ta nên gạch chân cụm từ the proposal and engagement ceremonies. Cụm từ này có nghĩa là lễ dạm ngõ và lễ định hôn. Từ đó có thể dễ dàng biết được hai lễ này sẽ diễn ra trước đám cưới. Number 7, the answer is engaged. Ở câu này các bạn nên gạch chân cụm từ started saving for the big day. Cụm này có nghĩa là bắt đầu tiết kiệm tiền cho ngày trọng đại này. Thì rõ ràng anh trai tôi chỉ mới đính hôn với một người bạn từ thời đại học và họ bắt đầu tiết kiệm tiền cho ngày trọng đại. After learning the vocabulary section, I hope you can remember the vocabulary above. Now, we move on to the next section, pronunciation. Task 1. First, listen and repeat. Pay attention to the strike patterns. Remember to repeat after the teacher reads each word.
Listen and repeat, paying attention to the stress patterns.
Increase, increase, decrease, decrease, perfect, perfect, present, present, import, import, export, export, protest, protest, object, object, rebel, rebel, contrast, contrast.
To practice the words which we have heard in Task 1, we move on to Task 2. Listen to the sentences and practice saying them correctly. Pay attention to the stress pattern of the underlined words.
Listen to the sentences and practice saying them correctly. Pay attention to the stress pattern of the underlined words.
1. There is an increase in the number of young people in Vietnam who marry later in life.
2. In Vietnam, guests often give money as a wedding present to the newly married couple on their wedding day.
3. In big cities, the birth rate has decreased over the past few years.
4. In reality, it is difficult to meet the perfect life partner.
Do you know that there are certain words in the English language that can be used as either nouns or verbs? Put stress on the first syllable when saying a noun, and put stress on the second syllable when saying a verb. I hope you will remember. If you are not sure about the pronunciation of any words, check it out in the dictionary. Now, I will give you the answers. In the first sentence, because it is noun, so we stress the first syllable. Similarly, in the second sentence, the stress is on the first syllable of the word present because it is noun. And the next one, decreased, is verb. Therefore, we stress the second syllable. In the last sentence, perfect functions as an adjective, so it is stressed on the first syllable. We have just finished the pronunciation section. We next move on to the last part, grammar. Before going to the first grammar section, let's look at Task 1, page 18 in your textbook. Do you agree with the following statements? One minute for you to read and do the task. Do you have the answers? In this task, the answer is up to you. However, in my opinion, I agree with statements 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This is a table showing the comparative and superlative of short, long, and irregular adjectives. Pay attention to this note. We tend not to use lacks and list to form comparatives and superlatives with one-syllable adjectives. For example, bigger or smaller. We use the opposite instead. Now, 1 minute for you to take notes. These are the comparative and superlative forms of adjectives. For comparative, we will have two forms. Firstly, for short adjectives, we add er plus than. Secondly, we use more before the long adjectives plus than. Similarly, there are two forms in superlative. We have the plus short adjective and add est. We have the plus most plus long adjective. Besides, we have some following notes. We use er for two-syllable words that end in y. We will turn y into I and add er. For superlative, we use est for two-syllable words that end in y. We will also turn y into I and add est. For example, the word happy has a comparative form happier and superlative form happiest. For short adjectives, we double the last consonant if there is only one vowel before it. For example, for hot, the comparative form is hotter, and the superlative form is the hottest. Similarly, big turns into bigger and the biggest. Here are some irregular comparisons. For example, good turns into better and the best. Before comparatives, you can use much, a lot, far, a bit, a little, slightly, to emphasize comparatives. For example, let's go by car. It's much cheaper. Another example, her illness was far more serious than we thought at first. We can see that these words usually precede adjectives. Now, 3 minutes for you to take notes. Now, you will continue to practice using comparatives and superlatives in English. Open your textbook. Task 2. Write 5 sentences comparing the two weddings in the table. Use the comparative form of the adjectives in the box and then. I think this task is not difficult because you can apply the knowledge above to this task. Now, 2 minutes for you to do the task. Have you finished? Now, let's check. In the first sentence, we can see the number of guests in Mr. Smith's wedding is 150 people, while the number of guests in Mr. Long's wedding is 120 people. Therefore, we will write Mr. Smith's wedding was more crowded than Mr. Long's wedding. Similarly, we will write the next sentences as follows. Sentence 2. Mr. Smith's wedding reception was more expensive than Mr. Long's. Sentence 3. Mr. Smith was older than Mr. Long when he got married. Sentence 4. Mr. Long's engagement period was longer than Mr. Smith's. The last sentence. The service at Mr. Smith's wedding was better than at Mr. Long's wedding. So, we have just finished the first grammar point. Now, I hope that you can use comparative and superlative adjectives correctly. We next move on to the next grammar point, articles. Do you remember how to use the articles? And how many types of articles are there? There are two types of articles in English, indefinite and definite. First, let's talk about the indefinite article. We will have the following form. We use a in front of the singular noun beginning with a consonant. And we use an in front of the singular noun beginning with a vowel. U, E, O, A, I. However, some nouns start with a consonant, have a vowel sound. We use an. For example, an hour. Hour starts with the sound ow. It is vowel sound. Some nouns start with a vowel letter, but a consonant sound. In these cases, we use a. For example, a university starts with the sound y. It is a consonant sound. When do we use the indefinite article? We use a or an when the noun is mentioned for the first time. For example, I have a son and a daughter. Or another example, they live in a small house. We also use a or an in front of names of professions. For example, she is a teacher, but we are students. Next, a or an is used in the certain numerical expressions. For example, a lot of, a few, a little, a dozen, a large number of, a great deal of, 60 kilometers an hour, twice a day, $2 a kilo. And finally, or an is used as an example of a class of things. For example, a car must be insured. You can write in another way. All cars must be insured. A or an is not used before plural nouns, uncountable nouns, abstract nouns, and names of mules. Okay, 3 minutes for you to copy it down on your notebook. Now, let's find out about the definite article. We can use the definite article the in front of singular noun, plural noun, or uncountable noun. First, we use the when the noun is mentioned for the second time. For example, I have a son and a daughter. The son is 14 and the girl is 11. Second, We use the when there is only one of something. For example, the earth, the sun, the moon, the sky, or the only sun. 2 minutes for you to take notes. Next, the is used before nouns, followed by post modifiers. For example, the girl in blue, the man on the donkey, the place where I met him. We also use the definite article before superlative and ordinal numbers such as the highest mountain, the first time. Besides, the form the plus singular noun can represent a class of things or animals. For example, the whale is in danger of becoming extinct. Or you can write in another way, whales are in danger of becoming extinct. The form the plus adjective can represent a class of persons. For instance, the poor, the young, the old. 2 minutes for you to take notes. The can be used before names of seas, rivers, deserts, groups of islands, chains of mountains, plural names of countries. For example, the Red Sea, the Huang River, the Sahara, the Netherlands, the USA, the Atlantic. Another usage of the is before musical instruments, but not names of sports. For example, play the piano, but play football. Last but not least, when we use the before plural surnames, we refer to a family, such as the Smiths. Pay attention that the is not used before abstract nouns or after a noun in the possessive case. For example, the boy's hat, or we can say, the hat of the boy. We also don't use the before names of meals like lunch, dinner. 1 minute for you to copy down. To better understand this grammar point, we do task 3. Based on what we have learned, read through the test and choose the correct answers. Now, 2 minutes for you to do this task. Time's up. Let me explain in Vietnamese. Câu đầu tiên chúng ta sử dụng ở vì quét in ở đây chưa xác định. Tương tự câu thứ 2 cũng vậy. Ở câu thứ 3, thứ 4, thứ 5 và thứ 6, chúng ta đều chọn the. Bởi vì bride, best man and ceremony đều đã được xác định trong tình huống đám cưới rõ ràng. Ở câu số 7, reception, vốn chưa hề được nhắc đến nên chúng ta phải chọn ở. Bởi vì câu số 7 đã đề cập tới reception, nên câu số 8 chúng ta dùng the. Chúng ta sử dụng the cho câu số 9 bởi vì có cụm từ the majority of plus plural noun, nghĩa là đại đa số. Do you understand? I hope you all have chosen the right answers. This is the end of our lesson. Today, we will go through some lexical items related to the topic. Straight into syllable words with the same spelling, comparatives and superlative adjectives and articles. Your homework is to learn vocabulary, pronunciation, and grammar. Besides, you have to do the tasks in the section A and section B in your workbook. Thanks for your attention. See you again in the next lesson.